I watched that 14-part story, so you don't have to. That's Jahmir, and he's letting us know that his ex-girlfriend stole his dog. The story starts off by telling us that they actually met on TikTok. He was in Georgia at the time and she was in Minnesota. She had gotten her real estate license about a year before that, and they decided to go ahead and get their license together again, and they were going to study for it. So they studied and took classes in Minnesota, and then eventually, before they can take the test, they both decided that because of housing prices and not being able to find housing in Minnesota, that they should move back to Georgia. Her name on TikTok is Resh in the Flesh. We're going to just call her Resh. So her and her kids and her cat end up moving down to Georgia with him. Now, he was living with his mother beforehand, and then after that they lived with his mother for about 7 months, and then eventually he got them a house. During her story time, she let us know that it was a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, and it was about $1,300, and that would have costed about $2,800 in Minnesota. Now, in Minnesota, she had her own 3-bedroom townhouse that she had gotten for her kids after being in an abusive relationship. She had built it on her own. Now, she said she didn't have a job, but she did have income, and nobody was helping her make that. Once they get to Georgia and they get all settled in, he ends up purchasing a $4,000 Frenchie with the intentions of breeding the Frenchie and creating a kennel club. Jahmir says that he named the dog Fat for Frenchies and things because he had intentions to also create a food truck around it, and he had made an LLC, and he was going to sell like French fries with a bunch of different types of toppings on it. Resh says that this dog was a gift, and she was the one taking care of it, taking it to the vets, making sure that, it was taken care of. She said that she gave that dog so much attention to the point that he would be like, "You're neglecting me and the kids." While in Georgia, Jahmir tells us that Resh was not working. She was just supposed to be, focusing on the real estate stuff, and she actually passed the class, but she did fail the test twice. And she put up a video saying that the reason she failed was because he was being verbally abusive towards her. And she posted a video from what seems like a security camera where they're like arguing, but when you listen, it's really hard to hear the audio. He's telling her, "Hey, I came here to visit you to Minnesota, and you're like doodling on your iPad when I want to watch a movie with you. I've been begging you all day to just do one thing and you haven't done it." He tells her, like, "How many times have I hopped up the minute you ask me to do something and I make sure it's done?" And she's saying, like, "I don't know," like not really giving him answers. So he gets irritated, and then they just start going back and forth, and you really can't hear the audio. She's trying to paint the picture that while she was studying for that real estate test, that he was actually being an abusive partner. But he points out in his video that if you look at the timestamp, you can see that that video that she posts from the security camera was from 2023, and he's talking about her failing the real estate test in Georgia a year later. Like he said, they never took the test in Minnesota. Cost was too high. They moved to Georgia. And then Jahmir's also like, "If you're saying that you took my dog because I was abusive to you, are you saying that you took my dog because I yelled at you in 2023? It's 2025. You stole that dog in January." Jahmir said that she was focused on a lot of things, like his TikTok activities and other things that had nothing to do with her children. And he would urge her, like, "Hey, like, you need to make sure your kids are reading, that they're, well taken care of." It was so bad to the point that her son was actually sneaking out of the house and going to go see his girlfriend and sleeping with her. Jahmir found out about this because the girlfriend's dad showed up at his door telling him that if his stepson doesn't stop showing up to his house, that he was going to press charges. But later on, they figured out that the girlfriend was actually older than the 13-year-old stepson, so he was not going to be able to press any charges. But things like that happening and everything else, he just felt like they weren't compatible and that they should just end the relationship. He said it ended amicably. There was no cheating, no nothing. He even told her, like, you could stay in the house as long as you need to build yourself up, so that way you can, move out on your own timing. He said he was never physically abusive in the relationship, even though she had actually pulled out 5 of his locks out of his head, and he was only able to reattach 3 of them. During the time that Resh was supposed to be saving up to be able to go back to Minnesota, Jahmir's older brother burnt down their mother's house. And so the mother and her disabled husband had to move in with Jahmir and Resh and the 2 kids. And so now it's a full house, and Jahmir's just trying to make sure everybody is okay. Now, Jahmir's mom was a nurse. Jahmir worked all day. He was selling roofs. They both would be gone all day long, and the kids were at school all day long. So the only 2 people left in the house was Resh and the disabled husband of Jahmir's mother. And so they actually ended up getting really close. They bonded over gardening together and like going out there and rolling one. Now, Jahmir's mother found this a little odd, and she even mentioned it to him and said, "Hey, I don't like the way that my husband be staring at your girlfriend while she's working out." And he's like, "No, he's old. She's not looking for him, da da da." And the mom told him, like, "Hey, I know what I'm feeling in my gut. I just want you to know, right? So they both brushed it off. He said, don't even worry about it. Her mom's going to pick her up in about 6 months and she's going to be out of here. 6 months fly by. And sure enough, her mother comes and picks up Resh and the kids and they go back to Minnesota. While they're packing up, mind you, it was a surprise to Jahmir. He had no idea that she was going to be leaving that morning. He sees the mom show up. He's like, okay, cool, like safe travels. He hands her whatever money he had in his pocket and he goes off to work. While at work, he gets a message saying, hey, can we take Fats, the dog? And he's like, no, you can't. And so he was so panicked that they were going to not listen to him and still take it that he left work, went to go pick up the dog. And when he arrived to get the dog, Resh is on the floor crying over the dog. And he just figured it was because she was going to miss the dog. And Jahmir said that he felt so bad that he actually told Resh, hey, when, Fats eventually has her babies, because she is pregnant right now, I will give you one of the puppies for free. Everything's fine. She leaves. A month later, he ends up getting a phone call from his mother. And Jahmir's mother's like, hey, my husband just called me and said that Fats ran away. And immediately Jahmir's like, how? She's pregnant with 8 dogs. There's no way she ran away. Matter of fact, she never even leaves the yard. So immediately Jahmir rushes home and he tells his mother's husband, let me see your phone. Let me just see what's going on. So he goes to his phone and sure enough, he finds out that the husband was talking to Resh 4 times in the last hour. So now Jahmir's completely confused. He's like, what is actually going on? So he goes to the text messages. To his understanding, he sees that Resh and the husband of his mother had something going on. He doesn't really go far into it because the minute he finds out that there was something happening between the two of them, he blows up. He kicks out his mom's husband and he's like, you need to leave. You betrayed me. And then he also finds out that his older brother, who burnt down their mother's house, along with his baby mama, were helping Resh get the dog back, because he ends up realizing, you know what, Resh and my older brother's baby mama were starting to get very close, to the point that when Resh left that day to move back to Minnesota initially, she came down to say goodbye to her. He's so hurt that his older brother and his older brother's partner helped his ex get the dog back. Also, because this Frenchie had a business plan behind it as well, Jahmir's like, wow, she was pregnant with 8 babies. I was only going to keep 1. That's thousands of dollars that she, essentially stole from me. He also found out that Resh possibly got Fats already spaded. Jahmir's like, that's fine. I don't know if you did that to spite me, because at the end of the day, I was only going to breed Fats once. And then once she had all of her babies, I was going to sell the rest of them and I was going to keep one of her daughters. So that way I don't break her heart and sell all of her kids. But also I was going to end up breeding the daughter. I wasn't going to breed Fats again. Either way, even if I got Fats back, I'm not going to breed her anymore. That boat has sailed. I'm on to different ventures now. At the end of the day, like, he just wants his dog back, it seems like. And on the other hand, Resh is like, this is my dog. You gifted it to me. I took care of it. I'm the one that took it to the vet. I'm the one that named it. She even posted a video of someone saying, hey, what did you name your dog? And she's like, Fats. And she's trying to say that that is Jahmir asking her, what did you name the dog? And he's like, that's not my voice. That voice was coming from the back seat. I'm the person driving. Why would I ask her what the dog's name is when it's my dog? Once Jahmir realized that his dog was gone, he did try to contact the police, to get in contact with the police in Minnesota and to work together to get his dog back, but they told him that they couldn't do anything because it was a he said, she said kind of situation. In another video, Jahmir shows us the paperwork that he got from his breeder when he initially got Fats, showing that his name is the first name on the paper, showing that he got a female, that it was a white and black dog, and that was the only paperwork that his breeder had proving that he sold him that dog, and it was registered with the American Kennel Club. And so he's like, look, I'm giving you guys proof, while Resh is just avoiding the question. Overall, Jahmir is just really hurt about the betrayal, because he was like, look, the house that my mom was living in, the one that my older brother burned down, I put the deposit down on that house. The house that I was living in, that eventually my mom and my mom's husband had to move in, I was paying for. I was making sure everybody had a roof over their head. At the end of the day, when there was a chance to betray me, they all took it. He's like, the only person that I can trust is my mother. And it's so unfortunate that the day that he found everything out, he had to kick the mother's husband out and be like, I can't trust you. Mind you, this man has stolen from him in the past and he's let it go. He's done a lot of other things, and Jahmir thinks that this is why his mother's husband felt so comfortable crossing him again, because he's done it so much in the past and he's forgave him. And so he was like, I can't believe you gave my dog to this woman that doesn't even care about you, that's probably not even talking to you anymore, just used you to get possession of my dog. He said that he saw text messages between his ex and his mother's husband asking, is the dog there? And the husband's confirming, yes, the dog is here. And then they're basically colluding, trying to figure out a time for when Jahmir brother's not going to be there, so that she can come back to Minnesota and grab the dog, which she did while he was gone at work, is when she came and took the dog. And so everybody in the comments was asking, like, if this was your dog, why did you come while he wasn't there? Obviously, Resh is denying a relationship between the stepfather in any appropriate capacity, but he's like, look at this message. The day after she left, he's asking her, how are you doing? And she's like, I'm missing you. And he's just like, ew, I can't believe it. Like, she was actually entertaining this. So once he kicked out his mother's husband out of the house, he's like, you know what? I should go to my brother's house. And immediately the brother's like super defensive. He's like, where's my dog? And he's like, no, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, let me just look for my dog. He pushes his brother out the way and goes into the house. And every step that Jahmir takes further into the house, the brother's getting more and more upset. And eventually when Jahmir gets to the master bedroom, his older brother is standing right in front of it. And he's like, damn, if I want to get into that room, I'm going to have to physically fight him. So that's the one room he didn't check. But as he's leaving, he sees a package that is a pet carrier that had been sent to the older brother's house by Resh. She had basically Amazoned it, I'm assuming, to the older brother's house. So he's like, why do you have a pet carrier? Why do you have this if you're not actually in cahoots with her? And so he took the pet carrier, obviously, but it just further proved to him that his brother and his brother's girl had actually betrayed him as well. Now, on Resh's side of the story, pretty much everything matches up. She does admit that he was paying for most things, not all things. She did pay for some things. She did say that when she met him on TikTok that he had like 72 wives. I don't really know what that means. She did another video when somebody said, really, 72 wives? And she said, no, like really. And she said that she got with him even though he might have had a bunch of people like he was talking to. And also her family didn't approve. When they decided to move to Georgia, her family was like, no, don't do it. But she said that she felt like she really loved him, that she saw that he was going to be somebody she was going to marry in the future. Resh detailed that the ownership of the dog and whose dog it was really only came into question when they would be fighting. And all of a sudden, she said Jahmir would take facts and be like, well, that's why this is my dog, da da da. That was the only time that he would really be pressed about whose dog it was. But outside of that, she said that she was, like I said, the one that gave it the most love. And so I think that's why she felt like the dog belonged to her. Jahmir and Resh, I hope you guys figure this out. It's a really cute dog, and as long as it's getting love, I think that's the most important part. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. You guys tagged me in this a bunch. I wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys. I appreciate you guys as always. Bye.